Hey friends, welcome. So I've spent a little bit of time now with the Mudita Kompakt, and this device is extremely popular. And really in my mind, there's only two, maybe three players in this space right now. And that is, of course, the Lightphone 3, which I've made several videos about Lightphone in general. And then this guy. This is, again, the Mudita Kompakt. This is a e-ink device, and it is very, very cool. If you've ever used a Lightphone 2, this kind of feels more like a successor to that device to me. This little thing is pretty chunky. The form factor is like kind of thick. Has an 8mm headphone jack, which is really great for if you like to just plug in your headphones and go. I know I like to. You've got the ability to drag music straight on the device. You just plug it into a USB port and you're on your way. And then also it's got things like maps built in. It's got GPS capabilities. And then also this device has what I would call apps to replace your distractions on your phone. It's kind of back to the framework or the ideology of Atomic Habits, if you've ever read that book, where they really talk about you can't just break a bad habit. You can't just be like, I'm going to stop overeating, or I'm going to stop drinking. Not an addiction necessarily, but a bad habit. You also have to pair that with a good habit. And I feel like this phone does that. It takes apps like that are on here. There's an app called Meditation. If you are inclined to pull out your phone and fiddle on there, maybe instead of doing that, you would be prompted to look at the meditation app and take 20 minutes of silence or 30 minutes of silence or whatever. And it kind of guides you through that. It's very minimal. It's not like that app Hallowed where there's like people talking to you and stuff like that. It's very just, bell rings and moments of silence and very cool. And there's other things like you've got chess on here. There's no way to play with other people. It's not like a social media app, but you've got the ability to play with the computer. I can tell you the difficulty level isn't super strenuous. Someone that has a moderate chess ability would probably get bored with it pretty quick, but that's okay. I don't think that the point of it is to be like locked onto your phone. It's to replace a bad habit with a good one. A couple of things I'll say about the device itself, and that is, I don't think the camera is going to win any awards. I really think there's no video at all, but you can still have reference capability. That's kind of the biggest kind of drawback to not having a camera on your phone. I don't need a camera on my phone for like capturing moments and content, because it's never really going to be that great. Even on my Lightphone 3, which I feel like has a great camera, by the way, for what it is, it's still not something I would bring to a wedding or a family gathering or a special occasion where I'm like, I really want to take a photo today of kind of this moment. But it is good if, like, let's say you need to park somewhere or take a picture of a receipt. You can quickly do that. It is kind of difficult with devices like this and the Lightphone to consider, like, if you are taking a photo of something for reference, you've got to figure out a way to get it off the phone. I personally have a Google Voice number, so I'll just text myself things like that if I need to do that. But other than that, I'm not really worried. I will say a couple of drawbacks on this device. Really, there's only one that comes to mind, and I'll also tell you about some perks of it that are unique to this device in this space in my findings. One of the perks is the music app. You can just drag the music onto it, which is really great. But the bummer with the music app, there's absolutely no sorting. It just puts everything in alphabetical order by song. So if you make a mistake like I did, where I took all of my folders of music and dragged it onto there, I thought that it would kind of subfolder the music out, and it didn't. So that's my ignorant mistake there, and I can easily fix that. But again, it's alphabetical order. So you would have to, from what I'm understanding, basically, if you wanted to sort your music in a certain way, you'd almost have to put a number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in that playlist to sort it how you want. Otherwise, you're just going to always listen to the most alphabetical song in my phone right now is a Billie Eilish song. So every time you pop open the music app, it's always going to be at the top because punctuation comes before the alphabet in the way they sort it. But you do have other perks of this that other devices I haven't seen in the space, like the ability to sideload. So you can install APKs on this, and I used a method that Andrew, I'll link to his video if you want to learn how to sideload. You basically load this app called Aurora Store, and then you can sideload apps from there. One of the apps that I really appreciated sideloading actually was Gboard, which kind of seems so dumb to put anything Google related on a device like this, because part of the perk is not having Google installed. But I found that the on-screen keyboard is a little bit quirky to type on, and the Gboard was a much smoother experience. And then I couldn't get things like Telegram to work properly. I did get Uber to work for me, and then also Bitwarden, which is like my password keeper app. But then I also you could put on Hoopla, or if you have a library app of your choice, you could load that onto here and have e-ink books on your device. That's very exciting. I think that's one maybe drawback to the Light Phone 3 for a lot of people, is they would like the ability to load books onto this. I do think if you had a book on here, since it is OLED, that would strain your eyes eventually. Whereas this being e-ink, you would have no problem loading up that book and reading it for excerpts and long periods of time. I'm not much of an e-reader on a device like this. I have a Remarkable 2 that I use for reading books and things digitally. If you've ever had to use a device that isn't a Kindle, there is a couple of hoops you got to jump through to get a book that you've bought digitally onto that device. There's apps called Calibre, and that usually is the app you want to get, and then you have to remove the DRM part of it and a whole nerdy rabbit trail from there. I think Mudita is a really clever company. This phone is $439 all in, and then you've got this nice little, this is like the cream color. It's not white, but it's like a cream, and forgive me for not remembering the name of the color, but it's fun. I like it. And honestly, it's almost half the price of the Light Phone 3. So if you're looking for a more premium device, this is a great consideration. This is a great consideration too, but this might be like right up your alley. So shout out to Mudita for making a solid device. If you are interested in purchasing, I'll leave a link below. And again, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a part of this community. I'll see you on the next one.